We are once again at the end of another month. Rather, we're actually at the beginning of the next month. But for February 2024's market update for Winter Haven, means our stats for January 24 are available. So let's get into the numbers. I apologize, I'm a little under the weather. I dealt with strep throat this week, which is why I'm a little late recording this video for you. In Winter Haven, we had 55 closed sales in January 2024. That's compared to 51 a year ago, an increase of 7.8%. Cash sales as a percentage of closed sales, 25.5% of all sales were cash sales compared to 31.4% a year ago. That is a decrease of 18.8%. Median sales price in Winter Haven, $306,409 compared to $275,000 a year ago. That is an increase of 11.4%. Average sales price, $292,869. That's compared to $283,911, an increase of 3.2%. Median percent of original list price, sellers received 95.2% of original list price. That's compared to 92.5% a year ago, an increase of 2.9%. Median time to contract, so till an offer is basically accepted, 41 days compared to 54 days a year ago, a decrease of 24.1%. And median time to sale, this is to closing, 95 days compared to 98 days a year ago, a decrease of 3.1%. New pending sales, 92 in Winter Haven for January 2024 compared to 77 in January 2023. That's an increase of 19.5%. New listings, 103 new listings compared to 114 a year ago, a decrease of 9.6%. This is actually different than countywide, where we actually saw a pretty significant increase in new listings. Pending inventory, 115 pending inventory compared to 118 a year ago, a decrease of 2.5%. Active inventory, 312 homes active in the MLS for January 2024. That's compared to 250 a year ago, an increase of 24.8%. And then month supply of inventory, we're up to 4.1 months supply of inventory compared to 3 months a year ago, an increase of 36.7%. So we are approaching a balanced market at 6 months of inventory, but we are still in a seller's market. Tune in and we'll talk a little bit more about what all of this means for you moving forward. So our numbers are really tracking with what are happening with mortgage rates. So as the rates went down, we saw upticks in closed sales, just general activity within the real estate market locally. As rates went up, activity tends to slow. We have seen an increase of inventory overall, although it is slowing a little bit. Increase in inventory generally would mean that home prices would go down, except that we still are short inventory. It's not going up enough to offset demand. And so as long as that's the case, home prices are likely to continue to rise. And I think the issue is, because all of that is so tied to what's happening with mortgage rates, is that as the mortgage rates decrease, as we do expect will happen sometime this year as the Fed deals with inflation and tries to get that soft landing for the economy, and it looks like March is not when they're going to lower rates, but probably keep it the same. So we may have to wait until their next meeting in another month or two before we start to see that rate decline. When the rates do decline, we automatically see an uptick in mortgage applications. And most of those are new mortgage applications, which means there are more buyers in the market, which means demand is going up. And when demand goes up and supply is not going up enough to meet that, then you're going to have prices increase. And so I do expect prices to increase in 2024. Most of the experts are saying prices are going to increase in 2024. Even as demand slowed in 2023, prices still went up year over year. Now, they're not going up like they did during the pandemic, but they still went up. And so if you're a homeowner, of course, that's great news. You're getting more equity in your home. In fact, if you look at the last 4 years total, if we go through December 2023, homeowners saw an average increase in home value of 47%. That's huge. That's a great return on your investment. So if you're a homeowner, you're thrilled with that. If you're a home buyer, it's definitely made buying a home less affordable. Of course, rents went up similarly during that time, and so you were kind of stuck either way. And so I do think it's worth, if you're considering buying a home, it's worth talking with your local friendly realtor who's knowledgeable about the real estate market. Hopefully, that's me. Just to talk a little bit about your situation. I don't advise everyone to buy, contrary to popular belief. Well, certainly I like to sell as many homes as I can because I support my family with the income from home sales. I believe in the long term that my business is better served by me giving accurate advice to my clients. And certainly for everybody, it's not a good time to buy. For some of you, it very well might be. For some, it might be better to wait. Whether you fall in the buy now category or the wait category, I still can help you. Because if you're waiting, then we can strategize a little bit about what you can be doing to maximize your buying power when it is time for you to buy. What can you do to maybe improve your credit scores or whatever else might be hindering you, so that when the time comes, you can be ready to jump into the market and get the home for you. And so it's not the same for everybody. I certainly would advise an investor differently than I advise someone looking for their primary residence. And I'd advise someone different who's looking to buy just a vacation home, and depending on what they want to use it for. So it's real important to understand what your situation is. If you are buying a home, how long you think you would stay in that home. Obviously, there are things that come up that can change your plans, but what are your current intentions is a big factor in whether now is the right time to buy or not. If in the end it is the right time for you to buy, then I advise doing it sooner rather than later, because you're going to simply pay more for the home the later in the year that you wait. Anyway, I hope you found this information helpful. If you have any questions about what's happening in the local real estate market, or just have questions about buying or selling a home in Central Florida, I hope you'll reach out to me. I'm always available. Text, email, phone, Facebook Messenger, whatever is more convenient for you, or you certainly can comment on my YouTube video down below. Please tell your family and friends about my YouTube channel. I love to have some more subscribers, and I love to have you subscribe to the channel. And if there are topics you want me to cover, just let me know. I'll be happy to do so. Till next time, have a great day, everybody.